Welcome to More Brains, Less Muscle. We'll continue with our series of discussions on lessons in life and business. My name is Philip Amiola. I am a teacher, writer, and life strategist. Today, we'll be looking at 4 surprisingly simple ways to improve your well-being and quality of life. Over the past couple of decades, we've experienced tremendous advancements in technology and in various aspects of our lives. Sometimes we try to make it look as if things are getting worse. Well, maybe things might not be as good in some respect, but the truth is we are living far better lives today than we lived 20 years ago or 30 years ago. Back then, internet was a luxury. I remember, okay, 30 years is even a long time. Okay, I remember growing up in secondary school, I used to save money to visit a cyber cafe. I would save up 70 naira from my lunch money and transport fare. Sometimes I wouldn't take transport, I would trek so that I could save some money so that I could buy 30 minutes of internet access in the cyber cafe or 1 hour, and then would go check email. It was a big deal, it was luxury, but today it's normal. You have your email on your phone. You are not even thinking about, I don't know how many people go to cyber cafes again, except okay, maybe in the rural areas, and for people that are still trying to come up as it were. But what I'm trying to say is that for most people, internet is no longer a luxury. At the very least, you are going to be able to use WhatsApp and Facebook and Instagram. But back then, all of those things were luxuries. Okay, and almost everybody has a smartphone now. Okay, things are getting better. Things may not be as good as we expect them to be based on maybe the kind of leadership we have, our own dispositions to life, and a lot of other factors. But generally, on the global level and even on the individual level, we're living far better lives today than we lived many years ago. Immunization, lots of different kinds of vaccines are now free, okay, because some people are sponsoring that, and a lot of improvements. Okay, so we can say that civilization has indeed helped to raise our standard of living. Okay, we live better lives in terms of the things that are available to us and how we can get our material needs met. But has it really improved our quality of life? Are we happier? Are we more fulfilled? Okay, I don't think that is so, because these days we have more cases of depression, and there are even people that don't know that they are depressed, but they are. Okay, and it's becoming rampant. Depression is becoming rampant. We even have people committing suicide. It's just crazy. Okay, we have people that are not happy with their work. Most people are not happy with their work. They're just doing it to make ends meet, and then they come home and then they are all stressed up. They are very tired. They are just managing to get by. So the quality of life generally has not really improved in proportion to the level of advancement that we have experienced in terms of technology, in terms of even economic reality, which is better than what it used to be for most people. Okay, so why is that the case? There are some issues that we have allowed to kind of crowd out the important things and put us under undue pressure. So I'm going to be talking about some of them and how we should deal with them so that we begin to enjoy a better quality of life, okay, regardless of our standard of living. It's good to continue raising our standard of living, to live lives that, okay, make us have access to the things that we need. But beyond that, the truth is that it's not a matter of how much you have. It's not a matter of the convenience available to you. It's not a matter of what you can afford or living large and all of that. That is not what determines your level of happiness and fulfillment in life. You can have everything and still not be fulfilled, okay? So it's more of a matter of your perception and then how you relate with the elements, situations, and circumstances of your life. So we're going to be looking at 4 simple ways to improve the quality of life. Okay, before then, let us talk about the key terms here. We have standard of living, and then we have quality of life. World Web Dictionary defines standard of living as a level of material comfort in terms of goods and services available to someone or some group. Okay, for example, now you could say somebody that has easy access to internet, somebody that, okay, maybe he can go to the cinema when he needs to. You can say that person has a higher standard of living than somebody that doesn't even know what internet is, that has never flown on a plane, you know, and all of that. So somebody that flies regularly, that, you know, has access to some of these modern facilities and advantages, you can say that person has a better standard of living or a higher standard of living than someone that doesn't have access to all of that. Okay, so that's standard of living. Now, but let's look at quality of life. Okay, again, referring to World Web Dictionary, it defines quality of life as your personal satisfaction or dissatisfaction with the cultural or intellectual conditions under which you live, as distinct from material comfort. So do you see that this is different? They are specifically letting us see that this is different from your standard of living. Okay, so the quality of life is how satisfied are you, how happy are you. It's more of a subjective thing. It's not as objective as standard of living. For standard of living, you can be objective about it. There are measures to determine, and then you can say, okay, this standard of person's standard of living is higher or better than this other person's standard of living, and then you can generalize that. Okay, but for quality of life, it's a personal thing. It's your personal satisfaction. There are measures to determine that too. There are ways to measure it and to say, okay, this is the kind of quality of life that this person is experiencing, but you really cannot always do that on a general level. It is on a personal level. Organizations like WHO, World Health Organization, have developed methods for measuring quality of life, but it's on a personal level. All of us can have the same reality in terms of the standard of living available to us, but our quality of life will not be the same. It is personal. So how can you raise your quality of life? That is what we're going to be discussing here. Before then, let's see what WHO has to say about quality of life. Okay, so the World Health Organization defines quality of life as an individual's perception of their position in life in the context of the culture and value systems, not those words, culture, value systems, in which they live, and in relation to their goals, expectations, standards, and concerns. Let me go over that again. An individual's perception of their position in life in the context of the culture and value systems in which they live, and in relation to their goals, expectations, standards, and concerns. That's how WHO defines quality of life. Okay, so what does that suggest to you? Again, we're saying that it is about you. It's not about others. It's not about what is happening. Fine, what is happening provides the context, but at the end of the day, you determine your own quality of life. It's your perception of your position in life. You look at yourself in the context of your culture and value systems around, and then you determine that, okay, I am good, I am not good, I am okay, I am not okay, I am happy, I am not happy. This is how I feel about myself. Do I feel fulfilled? Am I doing something significant with my life? Okay, so all of that, will help you determine your quality of life. So the more satisfied you are, the better perception you have, the better you feel about yourself, the better your quality of life. And one of the things that affects our quality of life is comparing ourselves with others. The definition we just looked at talked about context, and in many cases, many times we compare ourselves with others, and then we feel that, okay, where we are is not good enough. Okay, and most of the time when we do that, we're actually comparing ourselves with people that are better than us. We don't look for people that, okay, we are ahead of. Okay, but how do you even say that someone is better than you? Okay, everybody has advantages. You have your own advantages, the other person has his own advantages. So nobody, in the real sense of it, nobody is really better than the other person. It just depends on the advantages that you have and then the context in which you are operating, and you can shift all of that. Nothing about where you are is permanent. You can shift it. Okay, so instead of comparing yourself with others, compete with yourself and win. Say, this is where I am today, this is where I want to be tomorrow. Then tomorrow, look at where you are. Am I where I was yesterday, or am I better off? So as you continue to compete with yourself, that is a game that you can be sure you are going to win, okay, when you put your heart to it. But you cannot win when you are comparing yourself with others. You will always have reasons to feel bad. You will always have reasons. It's not even healthy, okay? It's not healthy, it's not wise. 2 Corinthians 10:12 says that, for we dare not class ourselves. And that's the way life is. You are putting yourself in a class. People want to put us in classes that, okay, you don't belong to our class, you are in my class, and all of that. So, but the Bible tells us here in 2 Corinthians 10:12 that we dare not class ourselves or compare ourselves with those who commend themselves. But they, measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves among themselves, are not wise. So it's simply not wise to compare yourself with others. And doing that will greatly reduce or have a negative impact on your quality of life. And that is where pride comes in. I like the way C.S. Lewis puts it. He said, pride is essentially competitive. Pride gets no pleasure out of having something, only out of having more of it than the next man. It is the comparison that makes you proud, the pleasure of being above the rest. And that's what comparison is really about. Okay, you want to outdo other people. Okay, you've been to your friend's house and you see that he has a 32-inch TV. Okay, so you want to buy 48 inches. And then when your friend has 48 inches, you want to buy something else. Or maybe your friend has a plasma TV, you want to buy OLED, and all of that. It's comparison. What's the point? If it's something that you need and something that you are getting because you need it, okay, but not because you want to be better than the other person. I remember when we were in the university in our undergraduate days, there was a phenomenon in the computer science department. Then everybody wanted to use a Sony Vaio. If you were using a desktop, you are even like you are nothing to be reckoned with. I remember a friend having to carry his desktop home and tell us that, see, I need a laptop. Not necessarily because he needed a laptop, but he wanted to feel among. Okay, that was the thing. And then not just a laptop, everybody was getting a Sony Vaio. So if you don't have a Sony Vaio, you are nowhere to be found. And then later on, I believe it probably would move to Mac. Everybody would want to have a Mac. But that's what everybody wanted. Now, do you need a Sony Vaio to do your work, or do you need a laptop? You understand? So the Sony Vaio is born out of comparison, out of, okay, I want to feel among, I want to be like everyone else. You are comparing yourself with others. So the point is, all of that is just going to have a negative impact on your quality of life. You are not going to be happy, you are not going to be fulfilled, you are going to keep feeling that you are missing something, whereas you are really not missing anything. But this comparison thing is such a part of our culture that you have to consciously work against it, otherwise it's going to suck you in. Okay, look at this, for example. Okay, for Nigerians, we understand this picture. Okay, now looking at this generator is popularly called I Better Pass My Neighbor. If you have not heard that before, you can Google it. Google I Better Pass My Neighbor. That's what we call this generator. But I don't even know how we came about that name. I don't know who originated it, and then it just became popular. So why should you compare yourself with your neighbor? Now, by the time your neighbor has an industrial generator, for example, are you still better than your neighbor? Okay, so how did we come about that name? I Better Pass My Neighbor. It shows the way we think, it shows our culture, it shows our value system. So it shows that this comparison thing, this pride of, okay, being better than the other person is part of our culture. We just want to show off, we just want to look good, we just want to make sure that, okay, the other person feels like we're better off. And it's even, it has shown in our social media habit too. People posting with stuff that is not their own. Somebody gets, maybe gets sent on an errand with a car, and then, okay, posts with it as if it is his car, and stuff like that. Recently we had the case of a blogger that went to someone else's house and took pictures. You remember that she took pictures, and then she was still arguing that it was her house until the owner of the house, who is not even in Nigeria, arranged to have her arrested and humiliated. Then she now had to come out. And but what's the point? Seriously. Okay, you said you wanted to give yourself a birthday gift, and then you went all the way. You were now making it look like, and then some people are already, feeling bad about that. Oh, see, this person's life is moving forward. Where am I? What is happening to me? Whereas it's all a facade and it's all make believe. But the point is, there is really no point comparing yourself with others. There is nothing about being better than your neighbor. Okay, it's a mindset that is going to keep you down. Okay, so I don't call this generator a better pass my neighbor. Generator is generator. So it just shows the mindset that we operate from, like I said, and we have to consciously change that if we're going to improve our quality of life. So the next thing we're talking about is the need to stop living to impress others. Okay, that is also closely related to comparison, but there is a slight difference. Okay, comparing yourself with others is you want to feel that you are better than them. You want them to see that, okay, you are doing better than they are. Living to impress others is you want people's approval. You want people to like you, but that's one of the easiest ways to fail. You can't get everybody to like you, and by the time you are living to impress others, you are making it easy for people to manipulate you. Okay, so don't live to impress others. Live to please God. Okay, what is God's purpose for your life? How does God want you to live your life from day to day? Are you doing that? Okay, are you at peace with yourself? Do you have peace in your conscience? These are the things that are important. Are you doing what is right and good? Okay, that is what is important. It is not about impressing people. If people don't feel impressed with you, so be it. You are going to attend a dinner and you don't have the kind of gown that everybody will appreciate, that will make people, commend you and all of that. Attend the dinner all the same. Wear what you have. I remember back then in school again, we had, I was the president of Union of Campus Journalists at some point, and when I was going to be inducted, the tradition was, okay, fine, formally dressed and all of that, you look good. But at that point in my life, I did not have I did not have a powerful suit, but I wore what I had. But I had people that would come and say, okay, please, let me borrow your suit. Like, seriously, why should you borrow? It even was with ladies, borrowing dresses from, there's no point. Okay, who are you trying to impress, and for what purpose? If you don't have what it takes to go to where you want to go, then sit at home or do something else. But if the clothes or whatever accessory it is that you're asking for is not the most important thing, it's not like it's a ticket for you to gain access, then be okay with yourself, be confident in who you are, and don't place your confidence on your appearances, on your looks, on your accessories. Those things are important. It's good to look good, it's good to appear well, but you don't have to go out of your way to impress others and then use what you don't have and then borrow money and all of that. There's no point. You want to have a wedding and then you borrow money to feed everybody and to make it look like, oh, you have it all, and then at the end of the day, after the wedding, you start paying debts. The person that made your cake, you have not balanced the money, you've not balanced your decorator, you have a lot of money to balance. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, so simply live within your means and not to impress people. Otherwise, you are not going to enjoy your life. If you want to enjoy your life, stop living to impress others. We have scriptures in Philippians 2:3-4 and 1 Thessalonians 2:4 that will find useful. Philippians 2:3-4 says that don't be selfish, don't try to impress others. Okay, I'm reading from the NLT. Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. Don't look out only for your own interests, but take an interest in others too. Okay, then 1 Thessalonians 2:4, Paul was saying that we speak as messengers approved by God to be entrusted with the good news. Our purpose is to please God, not people. He alone examines the motives of our hearts. Can you see that? Sometimes you want to deliver a message, you want to say something, or you want to do something, and you know that what you want to do is the right thing, but because you want to impress people, you don't want people to feel bad about you. You don't want them to feel like maybe you are not in support of them or something. You just want to make them happy. You want to be in their good books, okay? So you now start habits of bootlicking, and you start doing stuff that you know that these things are contrary to your values. These things are contrary to what you believe, because you want to impress others. I remember a discussion we had in one of the groups that I belonged to at some point, and then somebody was talking about how a boss would just send people around anyhow, okay? And okay, let me just simplify it. There is a messenger whose job is to, okay, maybe buy stuff for people, run, errands, short errands, simple basic errands and all of that, okay? And then there is a cleaner too, or there are cleaners that take care of the toilet and all of that. But this particular boss would call other members of staff that are maybe like anybody. You have your own role. You are not the cleaner, you are not the messenger, and then this person will ask you to clean her own toilet, the toilet in her office. And we were saying, many of us on the platform were saying, no, this is simply not right. There is somebody whose role is that's the person's role, that's the person's job, that's what the person is being paid for. So let the person just do it. So why should I, maybe I'm a marketer, for example, or I develop content or whatever it is that I do, and then you're asking me to come and wash your toilet or clean your toilet again, and maybe run errands for you and all of that. It simply doesn't make sense. But do you know that somebody among us said, no, you had better do it, there are no jobs and all of that, so you had better do whatever you have to do, so that, okay, you can at least keep your job, and then your boss will be happy with you and all of that mindset. So you are trying to impress your boss. You are trying to be in your boss's good books, or in the good books of your boss, and because of that you are violating your own conscience. Okay, I had a similar experience again in another group where somebody was talking about husband's brother visiting. Our husband's brother was visiting with them and staying a while, and then she was just going about her normal business and then taking care of the brother-in-law as much as she could and all of that. Then the brother-in-law now complained one day that, okay, she was not washing his clothes. Like she was not washing his clothes, and it just doesn't make sense. Okay, before you came visiting, were you not taking care of your laundry? If you cannot get a laundry person, wash your clothes yourself. Why should your brother's wife wash your clothes for you? And then I spoke against that. A couple of people also said the same thing. But a lady, and this is even a lady on the platform said, no, that wife is just proud. Why should she not wash her brother-in-law's clothes? Okay, well, for me, my wife doesn't even wash my clothes. She washes it when she has the time and she wishes to and all of that. And then most of the time we use washing machine. But I don't expect her to wash my clothes. I don't wait for my wife to wash my clothes. I wash my clothes myself. Okay, and when I get to the point of taking it to the laundry, okay, I do that occasionally. But when I get to the point of, okay, maybe I don't have the time again and the laundry person has to handle it, a laundry person will handle it. But I'm not expecting my wife to wash my clothes. Is it wrong? Is it bad for wives to wash their husband's clothes? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that it is not something that should be your expectation, that, and then it should not now be a case of you doing it because you want to impress somebody. You want somebody to feel that, okay, you want to be in their good books. Okay, it's not necessary. Okay, so there is no point in impressing others. Live in accordance with your own values. Live in accordance with standards of good behavior. Okay. A third thing that you should look out for is trends and fads. Okay, because something is trendy, this is in vogue, and then you want to align yourself with that. There is a movie series that everybody is watching, so you have to watch it because everybody is watching it. There is a new dress style that everybody has. Okay, everybody now uses iPhone, so you have to get an iPhone too. Your Android phone is no longer in vogue. Okay, and all of that. It's rubbish. Okay, yes, it's rubbish, because at the end of the day, you just put yourself on an endless race. Okay, if your current phone is serving your purpose, why do you need to get a new one? Because that is the latest, that is what is in vogue. Okay, if everybody is seeing a particular movie series, if it does not have any connection with your life, and if it does not have value for you at that point in time, or it is not in line with your vision and goals, then do you have to? Okay, I remember there was a time that Queen of Catway was very popular, and okay, I loved the storyline. I deliberately made out time to go see that movie. I sat down, and in fact, that particular day, I remember in the cinema, we were just a few people. I think it was a Monday or a Tuesday, but it was a work day, so we were just a few people, and I enjoyed it. I learned a lot of lessons, personal applications for myself and all. So it was not because it was trending. Now compare that to Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones would possibly have its good points and all of that, but at that point when Game of Thrones was it was the hit, or it was the in thing, it was what was trending, and everybody was talking about Game of Thrones. At that point I had other things I was doing that were taking my attention, and when my closest friend eventually and his wife talked about it, and okay, how you've not seen, okay, I felt okay, fine, I'm going to see it, and I made up my mind I was actually going to at least watch some of the episodes, but eventually I did not, because I simply did not have the time at that point in time. But what I'm saying is it wrong to? No, it's not. If it's okay for you, if you have the resources, if you have the time, if you can, if it matters to you, it's okay, but don't do it because people are doing it, because how can I tell people that I've not watched Game of Thrones? Well, if you want to hear, I did not see a single episode. I did not watch a single episode of Game of Thrones. That does not mean that I'm not going to watch it tomorrow or some other time. Maybe just to see, okay, what exactly is it that people are talking about and all of that. But if I'm going to watch it, it's because I made up my mind to watch it, not because everybody is watching it and then I want to also feel among. Okay, doing that is like building your house on shifting sand, because all of these things change from time to time. They don't remain constant. What is constant are principles and values. So base your decisions, your actions, everything you are going to be doing on values and principles. Another example is cryptocurrency. Well, cryptocurrency may be the future of money. There may be promise in it, but okay, because everybody is doing cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, invest in Bitcoin. If you are going to do it, you have to think twice, make up your mind, and get ready to lose, because it's not regulated. There are a lot of things that are wrong about it. Now, when you look at the principles of investment, you will see that investing in cryptocurrency might not be, very, very advisable. If you have high tolerance for risk and you don't mind losing your money, fine, but let it be clear. Know what you are working on, know the decisions, know the principles you are working on. Well, there was a time I invested in that too, and it's because of my values aligned with it in terms of risk. Like, okay, fine, I've checked the risk and I felt, okay, fine, I've not taken this kind of risk before. Let me even see, okay, what is going to happen for me. But I already made up my mind. I knew that, okay, so what if this happens? Okay, I felt, okay, if I lose my money, I'll take it as a learning experience, okay, and and all of that. But what I'm saying is, whatever you are doing, you should think through and have the principles and values upon which you are basing those decisions, okay? So don't do it simply because somebody convinced you, or simply because it is trendy, or simply because that is the him thing. So I like the way Jesus put it in Matthew chapter 7, 24 to 27. He was talking about living your life based on his teachings. So you can draw principles and values from God's word and then build your life on that, instead of trends and fads that continue to change. The principles and values are constant. They are as constant as the rock, but the trends and fads, they change like shifting sand, okay? So let's see what Jesus said about that. Anyone who listens to my teaching and follows it is wise, like a person who builds a house on solid rock. Though the rain comes in torrents and the floodwaters rise and the winds beat against that house, it won't collapse because it is built on bedrock. But anyone who hears my teaching and doesn't obey it is foolish, like a person who builds a house on sand. When the rains and floods come and the winds beat against that house, it will collapse with a mighty crash. Okay, so if you don't want your life to collapse with a mighty crash, then build on principles and values. Don't do stuff because that's what is trending or what is trendy, or because it's the fad, or because it's the latest thing. Do it because it aligns with your values and then your principles. Then for every action you are taking, for every decision you are taking, understand the consequences, understand the principles and values, underline it, and see that this is the kind of decision, this is the kind of action that will improve your life. And look at the outcomes and determine in advance how you are going to handle those outcomes and what effect the outcomes will have. Will it look like building your house on the rock, or will it look like building it on shifting sand? Okay, so that is very, very important if you are going to improve your quality of life. Let your actions and decisions and even your habits be determined by principles and values, okay, not trends, fads, and the things that are happening around you. One other important thing is to resist this urge to always have more. Okay, you have 3 phones, you have 6 cars, you have I remember having a friend's neighbor. A friend's neighbor had so many pairs of shoes that some of them were beginning to rot, and I'm not exaggerating, like dozens of shoes, that there's some that she might not use for a whole year or more, and then they were beginning to rot away. Now what's the point? Okay, so it's not about having more. Life does not consist in what you have, and whatever you want to have, you want to, okay, whatever it is, you want to have a powerful car, you want to have your own private jet, it's okay if those things are in line with your vision, if there are things that will help your purpose, your assignment in life, it's okay. But the point is, you are not focusing on those things. It's just like a woman that wants a baby of her own, a baby that she give birth to. Okay, now that kind of woman knows that she has to get pregnant. Okay, you have to get pregnant before you deliver. There is a process, so you are focusing on the getting pregnant, and then when you get pregnant, you are focusing on the antenatal care, and all of that. What do you need to do? What kind of food do you need to be eating? What kind of things do you need to avoid? And eventually the baby comes. So you should focus on, who do I need to become to attract these kind of things that I want? Okay, I want to be on national TV. Who do I need to become to be on national TV? I want to speak on third global stage. Who do I need to become? What kind of people speak on that stage? Okay, so whatever it is that you want to achieve, whatever results you want, whatever outcomes you want in your life, become the kind of person that attracts that outcome. Okay, instead of running after the outcome itself. Okay, that's why Jesus was saying in Matthew 6:33 that seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. You are not running after stuff, you are running after the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God in this case is, what does God want me to do? What is my role in God's grand agenda on the earth? And that is very important, because you did not create yourself, you did not send yourself here, you did not make yourself. So you need to find out, just like any product, the use of the product, the purpose of the product is determined by the manufacturer. So if you are going to have a high quality of life too, then you need to know, okay, what is my purpose? What have I been designed to do? Then keep pursuing that. So the more you pursue that and become what you ought to be, or become who you ought to be, become the kind of person that God has made you to be, you are going to naturally attract the things that you need to live, the things that you need to have a high quality of life. But if you are running after those things instead of facing the process of becoming who you ought to be, you are going to lose out on both ends eventually. You may seem to achieve those things, but you are going to end up empty, and your life is not going to make sense even to you yourself. So it's not about amassing more and more and more, getting more and more and more, getting the latest devices, the latest equipment, just getting and acquiring. It's not about that. So if you focus on becoming the person you ought to be, then you are going to naturally or almost effortlessly get all of those things that you are running after. In 1 Timothy 6:6-9, we learn that godliness with contentment is in itself great wealth. Okay, so let me read that out. Yet true godliness with contentment is itself great wealth. After all, we brought nothing with us when we came into the world, and we can't take anything with us when we leave it. So if we have enough food and clothing, let us be content. But people who long to be rich fall into temptation and are trapped by many foolish and harmful desires that plunge them into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. And some people, craving money, have wandered from the true faith and pierced themselves with many sorrows. Okay, so this place is telling us that if we have food and clothing, if we have our basic needs, we have the things that we need. Okay, not then we shouldn't be bothered about the things that we want. Let us be okay when we have the things that we need. Now, being content here is not talking about complacency or passive resignation to your situation in life. No, it's talking about enjoying where you are on the way to where you are going. You are not complaining, you are not sad, you are happy, but you are pushing, you are advancing, you are making progress, you are aspiring, and then you are taking steps. You are actively pursuing who you want to be, where you want to go. You are actively pursuing the manifestation of the fullness of God's plan for your life. But while you are there, while it is looking as if things are not the way they should be, you are not sad about that. You are not, you are not depressed about that. You are enjoying the whole process. Okay, you understand that it is part of the process, and the journey is in itself important. Okay, so that is contentment. You are happy where you are on the way to where you are going. Okay, and you understand that if you keep on developing yourself, you keep on learning, acquiring knowledge, skills, gaining experience, building up yourself, you will eventually get there, and you will eventually have all of those things that you are looking for. So instead of running around, and running after those things like everybody else, you know better. You focus on becoming who God wants you to be, and then those things start running after you instead of you running after them. In Luke 12:13-15, again, we find an interesting scenario where somebody came to Jesus asking him to divide inheritance with his brother. Okay, let's just read that. Luke 12:13-15. Then someone called from the crowd, "Teacher, please tell my brother to divide our father's estate with me." Jesus replied, "Friend, who made me a judge over you to decide such things as that?" Then he said, "Beware, guard against every kind of greed. Life is not measured by how much you own." Okay, I think some of the more popular translations of the Bible put that last part as a man's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions. So it's simply saying that life is not measured by how much you own. So it's not about owning stuff. This guy wanted, his brother to share his inheritance, their father's inheritance with him and all. And Jesus said, "You see, that's none of my business." Okay, so it's not so much about how much you own. It is much more about who you are. Who are you becoming? Okay, what kind of person are you? That will later bring in those things that you are looking for, instead of running after, okay, I want to own this, I want to own that. And the world is even moving to what we call the sharing economy. Yes, in the next 20, 30, 40 years, it's going to become more fashionable, and even more, it will make more economic sense to share rather than own. That's the model that businesses like Uber, Taxify, and the rest of them, Bolt now, and the rest of them operate on. Okay, you don't have, even if you don't have a car, you don't have to have one. You can still go to where you are going and still enjoy the benefits of somebody that has a car. Okay, without having to worry about the maintenance. You understand? So that is sharing. Okay, not owning. Fine, you are going to need to own some stuff, but your life should not be driven by owning. I want to own this, I want to own that, I want to own this, I want to own that. Simply get your needs met. Once your needs are met, is it a car that you need, or do you need transportation? If you can get your transportation needs met, then be happy while expecting your car, while waiting for your car to come. Okay, while be happy that, okay, at least you can get your transportation needs met. Fine. Okay, do you need to have a house, or do you need accommodation? You can get good accommodation, you have roof over your head. Be happy while waiting for your own house. Do you understand? So that is contentment. So it's not about what you have, is about who you are becoming. When you become the right kind of person, you are going to attract the things that go with that new station in life that you have attained. Okay, so in summary, I want to point out 5 points that you should remember. Compete with yourself and win. Stop comparing yourself with others. Rather, set standards for yourself, and then keep exceeding those standards. Keep moving from where you are to where you want to be. Okay, then second point is play for an audience of one. Don't play to impress people. Don't do stuff to make people happy, or don't violate your conscience because you want people to be happy, or you don't want to offend people. Okay, the only person you should be so concerned about pleasing is God. Okay, that's your audience of one. So you want to please God, you want to make sure that you are in line with God's plan and purpose for your life, and that you do not violate God's principles, you do not violate God's precepts. Your conscience is a reliable guide, okay? Especially if you are filled with the Holy Spirit, or you have a regenerated spirit, you have given your life to Christ. Your conscience is a reliable guide. Don't violate your conscience, okay? So let God speak to you, know what God wants you to do, and then live to please Him, okay? So play for an audience of one. 3, live by values and principles, not fads and trends. Values and principles are like rock. So living by values and principles are like building your house on the rock, which cannot be carried away. But building your life on fads and trends, this is what is trending now, I want to also feel among, okay, this is the way this is done, and then I want to do it that way. It's not going to help you in the long run, because those things keep changing, they will keep shifting, and then you keep adjusting, and then you even lose sense of your identity. You don't know who you are anymore, because your identity is determined by the trends, okay? And you are not going to enjoy your life that way. 4, go for the goose instead of stressing over the eggs. There's this popular proverb or popular saying about the goose that lays the golden eggs. Okay, so instead of looking for golden eggs, why not get that goose? Okay, and then you can have as many eggs as you need. Okay, I'm speaking figuratively now about becoming, and then about going for the real thing instead of the facade. Okay, what is it that will produce that thing that you want? Go for that thing that will produce it instead of going for the product itself. You understand? Okay, then finally, it's good to remember that more stuff will not necessarily make you happy. You can have all that you want, you can keep acquiring stuff, getting this, getting that, getting all the latest equipment and devices and all of that. It will not necessarily make you happy. It will not necessarily improve your quality of life. Your standard of living might go up, and then your quality of life is still very low. Okay, so understand that most stuff will not necessarily make you happy. So it's about who you are becoming, it's about the impact you are making, it's about the lives you are blessing, it's about how well aligned are you with God's plan and purpose for your life. Those are the things that will make you happy. Those are the things that will make you fulfilled. In closing, I want you to think about this. What if you get what you want only to find out that you don't want what you get? Think about that. Okay, sometimes you can really get what you want, and then you find out that you don't want what you get. You want to be very rich, you want to be, popular and famous and all of that, and all of those things are good. There's nothing wrong with them. But at the end of the day, you achieve all of that, and then you look at your life and say, okay, is this what I really wanted? Maybe in the process of going after all of that, you did not pay attention to your family, so you have lost your family. Or maybe your child is now a miscreant, or your child is bringing shame to the family because you did not have time for him or her when you were running after these other things. And then you look at the whole context of your life and you feel, is this what I really wanted? Okay, so think about that. So it's not just about getting stuff. Okay, it is more about living your life in line with God's plan and purpose, being a blessing to others, and being true to yourself. Okay, we have a verse in First Corinthians chapter 10 verse 31 that would do well to think about. It says, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. Don't do it because you want to be better than your neighbor. Okay, so this concept of I better pass my neighbor, erase it from your mind. Okay, whatever it is you are doing, don't do it because you want to impress people. Don't do it because you want to amass stuff. Whatever you are doing at all, do it for the glory of God. Do it to fulfill God's plan and purpose for your life. Okay, so we'll stop here for today. If you have questions, feel free to send them across. You can visit connect.tpcl.com.ng/ask to ask your questions. Just type connect.tpcl.com.ng/ask. ASK. Okay, type that into your web browser. You'll see a form where you can submit your questions. You put your email address, your phone number, and I'm going to get back to you personally with answer to your question. And we could also answer that question in one of our episodes. It could be an episode of More Brains Less Muscle or one of our training programs. Whichever way, we are going to notify you when the question is answered. And if you learned anything from this, feel free to share with your friends and family. You can also visit my website, philipamiola.org, and subscribe so that you can keep in touch and get access to other resources that I share from time to time. Thank you very much. I look forward to connecting with you again. Bye for now.